Now, when you first got in a car, you couldn't do that. The car was probably jumping all over the place, and you thought you'd never learn how to drive it. But you learned how to drive it. Now you're quite confident. You're confident that you can get dressed when you get up in the morning. When you were a little boy or a little girl, you couldn't do that. You had to be taught to do it. Well, you know, self-confidence comes, like all confidence, it comes with knowledge. And the more you study you, the more you understand who you are, the more confident you'll become in your ability to do whatever it is you're doing. And you'll know that if you lack confidence in an area, it's because you lacked information in that area. Never doubt yourself. And when you do, understand that the cause of that doubt is not lying within you, it's in wrong thinking, it's in not understanding who you are. Study yourself. Self-study will develop self-confidence, and self-confidence eliminates self-doubt. Love is the greatest thing. Love what you do. I went to visit Earl Nightingale one time, way back in the 60s. I'll never forget it. And I was leaving. I was so grateful I had an hour of his time. And I said, Earl, what's the real secret? I mean, what's the big deal? Well, he said, there isn't any big deal, Bob. There isn't any secret. It's simply a matter of sitting down and determining what you really love to do and then make a decision to dedicate your life to it. Man, did I get excited. He said, the problem with most people is they don't know what to do and they never make a decision to dedicate their life to anything. I got so jazzed. I knew exactly what I would love doing. I would love to do what he was doing. I made up my mind I wanted to do it, and I wanted to do it with him. And I made up my mind I would make a commitment to that for the rest of my life. You know something? That's exactly what I've done. I love what I'm doing. I love it. I absolutely love it. Now, when you love doing something, you'll run, baby, and you won't get weary. You'll walk and you won't get tired. You know why? You're a free flow. The energy is just freely flowing through you. You are the greatest instrument then that God's got. You're here to do God's work. What's God's work? God's work is creation. God's the creator. You're creating God's image. You've been given creative faculties. Fall in love with what you do, and you'll be creating great stuff wherever you go. Love what you do. Love the people that you're working with. Fall in love with the idea of love. At a very early age, we put a cap on awareness, and then we say, now it's all about the intellect. And so we've got lessons in school, and you got to remember what's in the book, and if you pass the test, you get the degree. There's all kinds of people walking out of schools with degrees. They're going crazy by degrees, and yet they can't find work. They're broke. You got people that have a doctorates in economics, and they're broke. How could that happen? Because they don't know how to use the information they've gathered. The average individual is self-serving. They're always focused on themselves. I want you to just pay conscious attention today. Write a little note maybe that you fold up and carry in your hand. Why do you do that? Just to remind you that you want to pay attention to everybody you meet. What are they doing? Are they really trying to help other people, or are they really trying to find help for themselves? Are they self-serving, or are they serving others? You're going to find the people that are the best at serving others. They are the big winners in life. Figure out how you can improve the service you're rendering. Now, I'm probably a little older than you, so I've been running around the park for quite a bit longer than you. And I have learned one thing really well in life, that my success, my happiness is going to be dependent on how good I get at serving you or serving other people. I spend most of my time trying to figure out how to help other people. I do. I don't spend much time. You know, I get almost everything I want. Almost everything I want. There's very few things, I can't even think of anything I want. Christmas, birthday comes along, well, I don't know. Send a donation in my name. I don't want anything. And it's got to a point where I just want to serve others. So all I want to do is serve others. Now, I'm a pretty happy guy, pretty healthy guy, pretty wealthy guy. What have I done? I have just learned how to fall in love with the idea of serving other people. Our company's success is going to be dependent upon how many people we can serve and how well we serve them. We have a phenomenal staff of people in Proctor Institute.
I choose to believe that we have, I just love our staff. We have some of the most phenomenal people. And we've got people come, like we have a guy, Tommy Collier. The guy is a creative genius. He wanted to come to work with us. I said, you want to work with us? I thought, wow, guy's so good. You will attract good people if that's all you want to do. Just serve other people. That's what we do. And we've got everybody in the company. That's where they're going. We got some pretty happy people, very successful people. And all we did is focus on serving other people. Companies that are enjoying the most success, they're the ones that provide the most and best service. This is the way it works. It always has worked that way. And I'm inclined to believe that it always will work that way. Fall in love with the idea of serving others. You'll be very happy, but you'll also be very successful.
You should seek failures. See, if you're playing it safe, you're not going to win. If you're playing it safe, like that old saying, you were taught when you're a little girl, better to be safe than sorry. Well, that's a bunch of crap. It's not better to be safe than sorry. It's by trying things that you figure out how far you can go. You got to get outside the box. Like it's reported, Edison tried 3,000 ways before he built the incandescent light. He said he didn't fail 3,000 times. He said there was 3,000 different steps to building a light bulb. Well, there's different steps to get to where you're going. And I really do treat winning and losing exactly the same. I do not let it upset me.
Do you think that's a big part of why you're so successful?
Well, it's part of why I enjoy it. Yeah, I think it is, because I'll try anything. Like if I'm into an idea, the idea of losing never enters my mind. See, I have worked with giants. I had the good fortune of working with Sir Edmund Hillary. He was the first man to stand on top of the world. And I worked with him on 3 different occasions. And the only difference in Ed Hillary and Bob Proctor is in his size. Now, he's gone now, but he was a big man. When he shook hands with me, his hand wrapped right around mine. I felt like a dwarf, And in talking to him, like it never entered his mind he wouldn't get to the top of the mountain, but he failed in 1951, he failed in 1952. It wasn't until 1953 that he got to the top of the mountain. Now, people had died for centuries trying to do that. But he said, I knew if I could see it in here, I could hold it out here. Stella Mann wrote that in a book. You can see it in your head, you can hold it in your hand. And that's right. And if you're not prepared to lose, you're never going to win, because you're always playing it safe. And there's no reward in that. Look at these 2 men. Do you know who they are? Most people don't. They're just a couple of ordinary guys. One, they're both gone now, but one was an ordinary beekeeper in Auckland, New Zealand, and the other a Sherpa guide from over around Nepal. Now there's Mount Everest. Do you know for thousands of years people had tried to get to the top of Mount Everest? People died doing it. It was believed it couldn't be done. People tried, but they didn't know how, and so they quit. There's a closer look at the mountain and where they placed their flag. They planted that flag in the mountain. Now this is the 2 of them after they come down the mountain. And you know something? When they started, they did not know how. They didn't know how to get to the top of the mountain. And that's what stops most people, because they don't know how. As little kids, we'd go, Mommy, Daddy, I want this. And they say, now how are you going to do that? Well, as a little kid, you don't know how to do it. But they did it. In 1953, on the 29th of May, they were the first 2 to get to the top of that mountain. They stood right on top of the world. Do you know there's been over 1,000 people do it since then? I watched a young woman on Canadian television being interviewed, not very big. She had just come back from going to the top of Mount Everest. And the reporter asked her, they said, how does it feel now that you conquered the mountain? She said, we didn't conquer the mountain. That mountain can't be conquered. We conquered the limitations that are within ourselves.
J.C. Penney, when he was 92, somebody asked him, how are you doing? Well, he said, my eyesight is fading me. But he said, my vision has never been better. Van Gogh one time was asked, how do you do such beautiful work? He said, I dream my painting, and then I paint my dream. Vision. Vision. Where there is no vision, the people will perish. What is vision? Vision is a long-range view of a multiplicity of things you want to do. Now, your purpose is why you're living.